Yay. Okay. Hi, you guys are watching the Mac and Cheese podcast. I'm your host, Mary. And is it Felipe? Did I get it right this time? Did I
Yeah,
get it right? Yes.
that's right.
We'll be the guest today. If you want to follow him on Twitter, please do. His account will be in the bio. So, do you want to start with the questions, I guess? And then we'll go from there if we have extra time. We can
Let's do
just...
it. It's your show. It's your call.
Okay, perfect. So, I don't know if you know this, but I asked my followers some questions, and these some questions that they actually sent me for you to answer. So they want to know, what is your best moment of the Packers season? We're in the off season for those that do not know. What was the best moment of the season in your opinion?
Well, I might be biased when I
Okay.
talk about this, but for me personally, was seeing Jair Alexander uh, coming out to the field in Brazil with the Brazilian flag, and like you had to be there to know uh, how the crowd erupted. It was insane. Uh, But obviously, the game against the Texans all comes to mind because Houston was flying. I think they were 5-1 or something like that, and the Packers pull out the game-winning field goal. I think these two are the top two in my head. Obviously, like beating the 49ers is always good, especially in the way that was.
Mm-hmm.
And to cap with it, I would say the win in Seattle because we experienced so much pain in that stadium in in the 2010s, especially.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think these four pretty much sum it up for me. But I can't I have to put the Brazil game with Jair
Right.
carrying the flag up at the top for me.
That makes sense. For me, here's the thing. I would personally say the Titans game was one of my favorites to watch. Um, it's Malik Willis's first comeback game of his career against
Yeah.
his team that cut him. Or traded him. That was a phenomenal game to watch. It was a sad day for the Titans, but it was a beautiful day for the Packers. I would say another one is the Saints game, that shutout, the first ever one in the 2023 or 2024 2025 season. That was crazy. And then, ooh, I'm torn between two games right now, and I'm gonna say why. This is the ones that I was at Oasis for, and this is the or no, three games, because so far when I've been there, we've won every single game but lost one. And the only game that we lost was the Vikings game when I was there. That's it. Like week 17, I was there and we lost. But every single time we've won. So I was there for the Jaguars game, Bears first round, and Dolphins, and the Vikings. And we've won all three besides the last one. And then, ooh, I would say my favorite was probably the Bears one. The Bears one. The Bears
With
first game.
the fake field goal.
Yeah. I would say that was my favorite. With the one that they missed, that the Bears missed, I would say that's my personal favorite because of that's when I met a lot of friends at that game, and I appreciate them all. But then, like, an honorable mention would be the Vikings game. I know we lost that game, but it does not matter. We still had fun at the bar. We were all happy at the end. It was just like a happy moment that I met some fans at the bar that are not subscribed to this podcast. But I would say like those are like honorable. That was an honorable mention for sure for that one. It's just like that experience. So what is your preference for Super Bowl 59 matchup?
I think this is pretty much common sense that I want the Bills and the Commanders to start
Yes.
off like the Buffalo trying to win its first ever Super Bowl win,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Jenny Daniels being the first ever rookie QB to start in the Super Bowl. I think would be two great storylines.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Chiefs going for the three peats storyline as well, like that it has its own relevance. But I think we're gonna see Eagles and Chiefs again. Uh,
Boo.
but I'm gonna root for both the Bills and the Commanders because that will be a nuts Super Bowl, uh,
Yeah.
and I want to see it.
I personally want to see the Bills because a lot of my fans know, but Rasul Douglas is one of my favorite players on their team. I have a personal connection to him. Like, not like talking wise, I wish. Rasul, if you watch this episode, please. But he's actually the one. This is the reason why I have his jersey for the people that do not know, is because he wished me a happy birthday on Twitter like 2 years ago or something. So because of that, I have his 50s alternate jersey that my dad got me for Christmas last year actually. So that's special to me. And I just think like Jaden Daniels would be perfect for that. Like you said, the youngest quarterback.
Yeah.
And apparently Devontae Adams' favorite too.
Yeah. You mentioned the Rasul Douglas connection. It's very similar with me and Carl Brooks.
Right.
Him being the first ever article that I put out was about him. Then him following me on Twitter, then coming on our show on She's Had Brazil.
Right.
So I hope he gets to spend his entire career with the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
But if that doesn't happen, my second team would be the one that he's going to be playing for. Except if he goes to a division rival. That I couldn't.
So like Aaron Jones did.
Yeah, I can't root for the Vikings.
It's hard. Yeah,
But
I know.
it's a similar connection. Similar connection.
Yeah.
I actually found out that Brooks deactivated his Twitter account, so that was a bummer.
Oh no.
Yeah, because I want and I told him this last February that we would love to have him back on the show. Obviously, not during the season,
Right.
but after everything was done. But we'll see if he comes back to X. Why not? I'll contact him. It was so funny because I sent him the DM, and in my mind I was like, "There's no way he's going to see this, and if he sees this, he's not going to answer me. Like that's just not going to happen." And I sent the DM. 30 minutes later, he answered me. So I was kind of,
Yeah.
he was very nice about it. So that was very surprising.
Yeah.
And that was a really fun episode.
When you said that, it's actually funny because kind of the same situation happened to me. So if you guys know Alex Green on Twitter, or X, the former running back from the Green Bay Packers in the 2010 season, he actually does like a thing. If you put cheese emojis, I think it is, in his comments, like he will follow you back. And it's funny because so I did that like last season or something, and he followed me back, and on my personal account and the podcast account, which is kind of funny. And it's funny that you mentioned Carl Brooks, that you DM'd him and he answered back 30 minutes or like later. That's actually what I did for the Texans game. I reached out to Alex Green and was like, hey, like after the Texans game, and I was like, hey, Alex Green, like I'm Mary, I run the Mac and Cheese podcast. Would you like to come on? And I didn't think he would answer either because it's been like over a year that him and I contacted each other. Sure enough, he did it. So Alex, if you're watching this, please. Because okay, the funniest part is we were supposed to have him on last season for the Super Bowl. Like, because I told people we were live streaming it. And it didn't work because I didn't realize it was a Super Bowl day. And it would have been the Super Bowl day that we would have went live.
Wow.
I should have did it.
Yeah. Absolutely. That was a missed opportunity.
No, and I think the reason why I didn't do it is because I don't like doing it by myself, especially if I don't know the person. It's like with you, I think I was fine because like Rob told me about you, kind of. And I think that's why I was fine with you, like for the first time. But it's like different having like a professional player, like former player.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like if I get Rasul, I would have like one of my co-hosts join me, like where I'm not like nervous.
Yeah, and I remember discussing this with the Cheeseheads Brazil crew, and like we were like, oh, what if Brooks is kind of shy and
right,
etc. But I took some time to watch some of his interviews in the locker room, and the dude had like 30 mics on his face, and he was super cool about it. So I saw it and said, guys, I don't think Brooks is going to get intimidated or be shy with the four of us.
Yeah,
So that obviously helped, and he was very open. Like he joked with us. Super nice dude. Uh,
that's
we
good.
love him.
I was gonna say one thing, like what you said is like don't be basically what our message was is don't be afraid to message some of these players. They might say yes, they might say no. It's hard
Yeah,
to decide.
and if you get to, and that's what is also important, that if they get in contact with you, if you can try to set up something
Hmm.
like we did with Brooks. You obviously can have a fan side because that's part of who you are, but you cannot let that fan side uh, overtake you. You
Right.
can keep that, but try to do it in a kind of a professional matter of how you want to approach it. But you can balance.
Hmm.
That's the message. You can balance those
Yeah,
personalities.
I love how you said that because when I told Nick like, "Hey, I was interviewing Tom Grossi, can you give me like hints?" He actually said basically said the same thing like, "Be professional. Don't act like he's your number one friend because he's not. He's a fan. We're a fan of his. Be professional with Tom." And I was, and I took it with like very professionalism. And that's the same thing like with ESPN. Like, yes, I'm a fan of ESPN, but also be professional with them too because it's a newscaster. You can get far with ESPN. Um, and that's why I never said no to that one. It was last minute with ESPN too, and I accepted it right away because, like I said, keeping never say no to famous people like that because they can get you very, very far. You never know what
Yeah.
connections you can build by doing it.
It's and what you said about the not having, like, if you want to message a player, do it, because I'm not sure if this saying is common in the US, but it's what we call in Brazil that, and I'm going to say this in Portuguese and then translate it, like, você já tem o não, which means you already have no as an answer. If you don't try it,
Right.
you never know. So you already have the no, but if you try to, maybe you can get the yes.
Also, if you please try to reach out to these guys, you would never know who would say yes. Or if they don't have like DMs, like I know Tom Grossi, for instance, doesn't look at his DMs, email him. Do not be afraid to reach out to him, be like, hey,
Yeah.
can you come on my show? Or like I did. So we actually, so funny story. For those that do not know. So one of my friends, Brian Rigo, Cheese All Day podcast, actually did a thing like, hey, everyone, all of his followers, like, hey, can you retweet this post? And I think it took 17 days to have Tom Grossi come on the Mac and Cheese podcast. And that's how we had Tom on. Um, but that's how we got it done. It's incredible. Like,
Yeah,
never take your shot with anything like that.
I was actually able to contact Rossi through email. Like, he
Right.
came on our show back in, I want to say the week before the draft last year,
Okay.
and he actually emailed me later asking for venue recommendations because he went on the, oh my god, what is the name?
The
Like, he
internet,
visited like 6 countries or something like
the
that.
international challenge.
Yeah,
Yep.
and his last stop was Brazil. Uh,
Aw.
he mailed me asking me for venues, but he was going to São Paulo. I don't live in São Paulo, so we have 3 admins that live in São Paulo. So we were able to set him up with a list of venues, and then he did his thing. But I heard he actually, I know there's a video of him playing soccer.
There is.
So that was really fun to watch.
So, actually, fun fact, and we can officially say this now. After he got back from the international tour, he actually came on this podcast, the Mac and Cheese podcast. It was like the week or so. It was like July 1st or July 2nd of 2023. Like, that's a day in my heart to remember, knowing that he actually came in. Um, so, what are your thoughts about keeping Luke Getzey? Possibly, I heard that he might be on the team still as a coach.
Yeah, because the Packers are in need of a QB coach, because Packers
I heard
legend
it.
Tom Clements
Right.
retired. Uh,
Yes,
he's
officially.
going to be a Packers Hall of Famer. his own way. I hope so because he deserves it. Getsy is someone who is familiar with LaFleur's scheme, knows the players, didn't do a great job in Chicago as the OC. But I think if the Packers do their homework, like they know with who they're dealing with, but it's obviously Jordan Love now. It's not Aaron Rodgers anymore. And if Getsy is okay with their plan, how they want to approach things, and if the Packers do their homework on him, uh, on his tendencies of the last years, uh, I don't think it would be a bad hire. Like I know there are some names out there like Bob Slowick, who recently got fired from the Texans, and he was with LaFleur in the 20 in the iconic 2013 Washington staff, like with Shanahan, McVay, Mike McDaniel, all of these guys. Uh, but we'll see. One thing for sure, they have plenty of candidates to interview and research. So there's a lot of options out there.
Right. Do you think Sean Mannion will be the next quarterback coach, knowing that he stayed around a year behind Tom Clements?
I remember LaFleur talking about it in his season-ending press conference. He was asked about it, and he didn't rule out Sean Mannion being promoted because I think he's currently with the Packers. I'm not sure. I think he is. Uh, Obviously, he's been watching Jordan Love closely, just as Malik Willis. So
Right.
if someone knows how Love's game, Will's game is probably him. But the Packers also need to make sure that he is up for the task, right? Not just because he's would be an inside hire or promotion to put it.
Right.
They need to make sure that he's up to the task. He's someone that played QB in the NFL, if it's a backup German, but he's someone who has starting experience or at least backup experience in the league. So he know how the league works,
Right.
how the off season works, how the QB development works. So we'll see. But I I wouldn't exactly be against it because we don't know how it would be as a in that position. We would do in that position.
Yeah. Like you said, you never know like how it works either. Because yes, he does have backup quarterback or quarterback, like starting quarterback and backup. Um, I think he's going to be a good coach for the future because of him playing quarterback.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look at Willis. Willis was apparently bad with the Titans. Look at what Clemens did, or Mannion. Who knows? It's crazy. I think personally, Malik Willis got better too because of Clemens and Mannion when he was the quarterback coach. So that would be interesting. Okay. Bears question. How do you feel about the Bears having more wins than the Packers because of the loss, week 18?
But more wins in what context?
I don't know. This was from a Bears fan. That was literally the question.
I think he probably means more wins in 2025, the calendar year of 2025.
Yeah, probably.
The Bears being 1-0 and the Packers being 0-2. I mean, okay, because that's just
right?
like I think I know what he's trying to ask me, but
Okay.
that's kind of a weird question because
Yeah.
like the Bears are always the off-season champs.
Right.
I'm not that worried. I was talking to you about this before we started recording. I think Ben Johnson could do good things there, but like I won't believe it until I see it, right? So, and I was even talking about this about the Packers and the rest of the NFC North. I would gladly take it an 0-6 division record if that meant the Packers would win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the other NFC North fan base love to talk about the Packers. The Packers, the standard. I'm not sure if you have seen this. but there was a tweet made by a Vikings fan in the night of the Rams Vikings playoff game that and it was 27-9. And that was literally a tweet of a Vikings fan saying, please just score
Yeah.
more points than the Packers. Like their season was going down the toilet, and the only thing they could think of was the Packers. That's that's sad because for us it's awesome because the Packers are the standard.
Yeah.
Uh, but other NFC North fan bases like to talk about the Packers. The Packers like to talk about winning championships. Pretty much like Peter Bukowski put out this week. Uh, but I think the Bears could surprise some people.
Okay.
Uh, but like I said, I have no reason to fear them until
Okay.
I see something. Like I know they beat the Packers, and they were a block field goal away from going 2-0 against the Packers.
Hmm.
But they are still 1-11 the last 12 against the Packers. So I have no reason to worry. That was the week 18 game was a minor setback. I'm not worried at
Okay.
all. At all.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of Jair Alexander, that's the only Bears question. Yeah. Jair Alexander. Do you think he's coming back? What do you think is going to happen to Jair?
So all Pro Bowl quarterbacks don't grow in trees, right?
Right.
With that being said, I don't think he's coming back.
Oh, yeah.
I think this could pretty much be a similar David Bakhtiari situation.
Okay.
But if the Packers do something, it's going to be post June 1st because I think they can save 17 million cap space after, with a trade or cut post June, right?
Okay. Yeah.
If they do anything before that date, would be just a cost against the cap, and it's such a shame because a health Jair is as good as they come, right? So it's just an unfortunate situation because, and I have seen this all over X this past year. Oh, he's chosen to be injured. He doesn't want to be out there, guys.
Right.
The guy probably grew up dreaming of playing the NFL. He's not gonna sit out games.
Yeah.
That's not a thing that has never been a thing. Because I know there was this disclosure with David Bakhtiari as well back in the day. That just don't happen. Like he's not choosing to miss games. So it's just an unfortunate situation because I think Jack and it was really worrying. Not really worrying, but I'm not sure you have seen this, but Matt Schneidman asked LaFleur about players that he kind of, I'm not sure trust the right word, but he trusts to be vocal leaders in the locker room.
Right.
So he mentioned 11 players, and Jair was not there. So I'm
Hmm.
not saying it means anything, but I think that's something to watch. But I think it just makes sense because I'm not sure if the relationship is just there anymore. I know Gurikan said there's no what is the term he said? Uh, I'm not remembering, but he basically said the relation is not broken. Like
Right.
there's frustration with both sides, and
Okay.
maybe the best solution is for everyone involved is just to move on because
Hmm.
Jair didn't want to talk to the media in the locker room cleanout day.
Yep.
And honestly, if this was it, I hope he
No.
can go to an AFC, and I'll say this again, AFC contender
Right.
to
Yes.
compete for a championship because I would love him to see get one.
Right. Okay, so if we trade him, what would you see him go with? Like a second round pick, first round pick? I heard first.
Oh,
I heard second.
so a first round pick is not going to happen.
Okay.
He's about to be 28 or 29. I'm not
Okay.
sure. I think 28. And he has missed like 34 of the last 65 games.
Right.
No one is going to pay a first round pick for him. And if someone does, the Packers need to take that deal right away. Like, don't ask questions, just take it right away. Uh, I think a second round pick is a bit much as well.
Mhm. Okay.
Maybe a third, but I would guess an early day three pick, like early fourth rounder. I think
Okay.
that's more suitable. Just I think it don't make sense for any team to spend a high pick on a player that unfortunately has been having trouble to stay healthy.
Mhm.
And my bet that if he gets traded, even if he's released, my personal bet is that he's going to the Baltimore Ravens. Him,
Yeah,
him
I could
and
see.
Lamar were teammates at Louisville.
Mhm.
Ravens seems to be always in need of cornerback depth,
Yeah.
and I think it makes sense.
Yeah, the Ravens would make sense. And also for those that are watching, Jair is about to be 28 according to the Packers website, not 29. He's 27 currently.
Yeah.
So his age is kind of scaring him away. Um, One player that I didn't put on here, Brandon McManus, do you think we bring him back knowing his age? He's about to be 32, I think.
I'm
So,
not sure. I'm not sure if age is a big parameter for kickers.
okay.
Like, and I remember telling you about this the last time we recorded.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm trusting the Packers that they have done their homework on him with the off-field stuff because whereas there's I know he was relieved of charges, but where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right.
So I'm trusting that Packers did their homework, and whether we like it or not, he brought stability to the kicking game. So I know he missed the 38 yarder in the postseason,
Right.
but he finished the season like 20 of 21 in
Yeah.
the field goal. So I would assume they're gonna bring him back,
Okay.
but we'll have to see how that develops because I think he's an unrestricted free agent, so they're probably gonna have to negotiate a new deal with him instead of just applying the restricted free agent tag.
Okay. And he's a Brandon McManus is about to be 34. I was wrong on that. Um, I'm trying to see if it was like a what Brandon. Who do you think the Packers bring back from free agency from the players?
So and I literally wrote about this
Oh,
2 days ago.
okay.
I would love to see them target Khalil Mack.
Okay.
Uh, Gutekunst has a prior history with him. He tried to trade for him in 2018. I think he offered two first round picks, but
Mhm.
I I think the Raiders didn't want to trade him to the Packers because they didn't think the Packers would have a high pick. So he ended up Chicago instead. Obviously, Max
Right.
not the player he once was, but he had more pressures than Rashan Gary last year, so he would lead the Packers in pressures. And talking about Brian Gutekunst's comments about sense of urgency to compete, to win now, makes sense because who knows how long Max is going to play? Maybe 1, 2 more years. And if the
Right.
Packers have the sense of urgency to win, Mack is a guy that can come and play from day one and contribute immediately because the pass rush was I think 26 in pass rush win rate, which was not great.
Yikes. No.
So they need help in that area. And bringing Mack is a move that the Packers would absolutely not make like 2, 3 years ago, but I think it makes sense now
Okay.
for if they want to win now, and they want to win now. So, and I was even telling, and I was retweeting the tweet of my good friend Austin Kruger on Twitter because Daniel Jeremiah just had his mock draft for the NFL.com.
Okay.
And in there, he had the Packers taking Shemar Stewart, who is a promising pass rusher, but he's raw, which means
Okay.
he's the prospect that the Packers like,
Mhm.
kind of prospect that they like. But they need guys who can play right away. They don't need developmental projects. They need guys who are ready to play from day one, like can help them from day one. So going back to Mac, he's that kind of guy, and it makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes sense. Khalil Mack, they're probably gonna have to address corner regardless of what happens with Jair.
Mm-hmm.
I know Paulson Adibo and DJ Reed are going to be free agents. So I will expect the Packers to do their homework on them.
Okay.
And I think the elephant in the room, wide receiver. Because I came to the 2024 season believing that not having a legitimate number one option was a good thing, but that was proven wrong.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So maybe
What?
they go after Devontae.
Oh.
Maybe they
Oh.
go after T. Higgins.
Right. Oh yeah.
They're more likely to go after Devontae than T. Higgins.
Okay.
Uh,
What about DK Metcalf? I know that's another name that people have been throwing around. DK Metcalf.
yeah, I'm not sure if he's gonna want out of Seattle. I'm not
Okay.
sure what his status is, his cap hit is.
Let me look it up. 'Cause
Uh, but we'll see. I would expect the Packers to be interested in Devontae.
okay. Do you think Devontae might have enough like would want to come back to the Packers knowing that his deal didn't get done in the first place? Like I know his deal is done with the Jets, but do you think he would want to come back to the Packers?
I mean, the Packers would have to rework his deal for him to come back. I think Ken Ingles gives an explanation of Ken Ingles, the guy who basically does a living of studying the Packers cap space. So they
Okay.
would have to rework his deal because he's due to 72 million in the last 2 years of his deal,
Yikes.
and the Packers are not going to pay him that.
No.
So they're probably going to have to restructure. But Davante was dropping like hints left and right on the K Adams show, talking about the Packers needing help at wide receiver. And it
That's
was
a good
particularly
point.
funny how he said veteran wide receiver because he fits in the category. So
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like he was, oh, I want to spot back on the team, like saying
Yeah,
that directly.
that's a good point. I forgot about that. That's true. Also, just to let you know, DK Metcalf is with the Seahawks for 2025. So he's a free agent in 2026. So I don't know
Yeah.
why Packer fans are throwing out his name. I
Yeah.
mean, unless if we trade for him, but it's looks like 18 million dollars. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea though. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't know. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
How about I know Debo Samuel is another one that fans have been throwing out.
Yeah, and I mean, what concerns me about Debo was that episode of him like literally pushing someone at the Bucks game. I think it was the holder or the kicker. I think it was the holder.
Okay.
I'm not sure if the Packers go well over that in the locker room because they are really a lock. They have a strong locker room culture.
Yeah. True.
So, and Debo is about to be. How old is Debo? Debo was from the 2019 draft. So right
Okay.
now, I'm gonna guess he's uh, at least 27 now, 28. So kind of older, but we'll see. I guess the Packers, if the Packers target someone, it's going to be Devontae.
So Debo Samuel is 29.
29, yeah. He's going to
So
wait. He turned 29 already this year. He's going to be 30.
he turned 29 this year.
Oh,
January 15th is his birthday. So 29 this year. I don't know. It might be interesting, but I don't know if it's a good idea. With what you said about the okay. With what you said about the like the background, the locker room history. I don't know if it's a good idea. And I think a lot of Packer fans want Debo and DK is because Goody was apparently between those two when he
yeah.
picked Jair. So that would be interesting. Or not Jair. That like round. But I don't. And one thing I don't like about DK is his like. He always seems to get ejected too from games.
Yeah. Obviously, the games against the San Francisco, the 49ers come to mind. He He might have a temper, but I think it's something the Packers could like work on with him.
Yeah.
I'd imagine the Packers, if they target a wide receiver, they're probably going for the safe route. That would be Devontae. But maybe they break the mold.
Mm-hmm.
Like Goody has the healthiest cap space to work with since 2019. When they brought in like the Smith Bros, they brought Adrian Amos, so he can make some moves that we're not anticipating, right?
Right. And I think that's what is going to be the most interesting thing is like the age or the cap space with Goody has now, knowing that we have a lot more too.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, like how it works this year. It's going to be a very, very exciting offseason, I feel like, for the Packers. Like, I feel like it's going to be like the same as last year's. And if we remember last year, Xavier McKinney, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. 2 home run signings, by the way.
What?
2 home run signings, by the way.
Yeah. I think it's going to be like another season like that. I don't think it's going to be as active as that, but I think we're going to get some good players.
Yeah.
That a lot of people aren't thinking about. One thing I know about T. Higgins is everyone wants him right now, like every single team.
Yeah, and I don't think the Packers won't get into a bidding war for Higgins. That's another fact for me.
Okay. And one thing about T. Higgins, and I'm not sure if you knew about this. So back in the day, T. Higgins in 2020, the Packers were about to draft T. Higgins before drafting Jordan Love or trading for Jordan Love too.
Yeah.
So maybe because of that, T. Higgins might want to come to the Packers, knowing that history too. Because I heard T. Higgins was going to get drafted by the Packers if we did not trade for Jordan Love. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah, so they're gonna. It's funny because the Packers need to maximize Jordan Love, and they're gonna do that with a play, probably not, or maybe with a player that they passed on to take Jordan Love.
I know.
So that's kind of funny how everything comes around.
I'm waiting for it to happen. Just wait. Just wait. Everyone will be mad at the draft. Just wait. Okay. So we obviously fired our defensive lineman coach recently. Was it defensive lineman?
Defensive Jason Rebrovich.
So who do you think is going to be the next defensive edge coach for the Packers? Do you think it's going to be someone in college like Jeff Hafley or what?
So I wanted Casey Rogers from the Buccaneers, but he went to the Lions, right?
Out of everyone, yeah.
Yeah, I think they could probably follow. I'm not entirely familiar with their research for the vacancy, but they could follow the college route. I think there was a coach on the I think it was on the Jets. I'm not sure if it was on the Jets, but my number one target was Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if the Packers would consider a promotion in case for someone in the organization. But maybe Heffley has some connections to Boston College yet, someone he likes to coach his D-line. They have options.
Right, but if it was a Boston College coach, why wouldn't Heffley do it when he was hired, though, is my point.
Yeah, I think the Packers are big fans of keeping their guys in the building to give a chance. True. Like that happened in 2019 when Floor kept Mike Patton.
Yeah.
As you can see. Well, the Packers are known for giving chances. They obviously didn't work and they move on from Rebrovich.
That's a good point. White Cotton is a name that everyone has blown around. White Cotton from the Jets. However, I don't know if that's going to happen because of Saleh going to the 49ers now. That might have ruined that chance for us, unfortunately, Packer fans.
I'm very thankful that the Packers are not playing San Francisco next year because that was a home run signing by the Niners.
Yeah.
Saleh is a really good defensive coach, really good.
Yeah, and I forgot about that because I didn't realize that the Packers don't play 49ers. Thank God for that. Because Saleh was actually our coach for a little bit, is what people forget. And he might know about the Packers now more. he probably gave that information to the 49ers.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
I
interesting.
mean, if he's going to give the information about the Packers offense that played in the last 4 weeks of the season, I'm fine with it because the offense was really, really bad.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So, what do you personally want in the draft for positions? I know you mentioned wide receiver, cornerback. What positions are you looking for in the draft?
I
Also, do you
mean,
have any like scouts yet? Like any players that you like that
I
you need to be on the
I
lookout?
had a few scouts on wide receivers,
Okay.
but I don't want a receiver with our first round draft pick. I want someone who can be ready to play from day one, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
I like Shamar Stewart, but he's not the type of guy that I want the Packers to draft in the first.
Okay.
Uh, I did some scouts on Jack. I'm not sure how to say his name. Jack Beck from TCU.
Okay.
Uh, oh my God, I forgot the that kid from Stanford that has a tough name to say. Oh my
Mm,
God, I
I
forgot
don't
his
know
name.
right now.
But I think the one that I liked the most was Jack Beck from TCU.
Okay.
Uh, really polished route runner, good hands, can capitalize on yards after the catch. And he's a Senior Bowl wide receiver, and the Packers love Senior Bowl players.
True.
So
And Hula
I think
Bowl.
him in the second, the third, maybe because the Packers need wide receiver. Like they're going to make some change, not changes because I'm sure they like Reed, Dobbs, Watson, Wicks, but they're gonna add to
Oh,
the room. They're
okay.
gonna add to the room. So uh, I expect them to be active both in free agency and the draft for that
Okay.
position.
So you
But
mentioned Watson really quick. You mentioned Watson and Dobbs. What happens to them? They're free agents technically. Do they come back?
yeah, and Watson's torn ACL is going to delay his contract negotiations because to me, he's the most talented receiver of the room,
Hmm.
but he has trouble staying healthy.
Right.
So that probably impacts his market value, impacts his negotiations. Uh, I want him back,
Okay.
but can he stay healthy? That's the
Right.
question. And Dobbs, uh, I know the Packers trust him a lot, like in
Hmm.
the go-to guy when things get tough on third down.
Hmm.
He's Love's number one target in that scenario.
Right.
He had a bad concussion in the wild card game, and I remember being so pissed because Josh Jacobs was wide open in the flat, but Love forced the ball to him. Just unfortunate. Not saying it's Love's fault. Uh, just an unfortunate play scenario. But I think it's no between Watson and Dobbs. To me, it's no question that Watson will be their number one priority because not only how explosive he is with the ball in his hands, but his speed also opens for so many underneath concepts. I'll make sure to send you this on Twitter after we finish recording. But we have sky cam views of Watson like just bursting down the field and taking both safeties up top and opening the middle for Dobbs and Wicks and Reed.
Yeah.
That's how valuable he is. He makes impact with the ball or not.
Right. And what do you think happens with center? Do we bring back Josh Myers? Keep him?
I think the Packers are going to bring him back because they absolutely love him inside the building. Like Goody literally in his press conference saying, "Oh, he's the embodiment of what a Green Bay Packer years we love him." Uh, he's okay as a pass blocker and average at best as a run blocker.
Hmm.
I think the Packers could do better, but I don't think Myers is a liability.
Okay.
You need good center play to have a good offensive line.
Yeah. I think Monk did good, though. When we saw him against the Eagles, Monk did okay when he played.
Yeah.
Another
Uh,
thing is, like, Josh Myers said he was okay after the injury, but
yeah,
what?
I think he's coming back. I
Okay.
guess he's coming back.
Okay.
I will be totally against it, but like I said, I think the Packers can do better.
Okay. What is your message if people want to come to the draft in Lambeau? I know you personally told me some stuff, which we won't say on here, but
Uh, so I think if people go to Lambo for the draft, they're not going to regret like meeting and meeting those connections that they made over so many years of doing content. In case you do content,
mm-hmm.
uh, getting together for the in-person experience, like that's what makes it so fun. Like we meet people along the way that
Right.
helps us think about it, like give us different perspectives on s- so many different topics. So that feeling of getting together with people with you have so many respect and hold to a high regard, it's I can't even describe it because like I told you that happened with me. And despite the result in the Brazil game,
Mm-hmm.
I would do it all over again because of the general experience that was. So if you're planning to go to Lambo, please go. You're not going to regret it.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Just meet everyone that you can. You're not gonna regret anything. Take as many pictures as you can. Um, I haven't been to Lambeau, and I'm planning to do it soon. That's all I'm gonna say. And I will break draft plans soon on probably a live stream. Probably not. I don't know yet. All I know is be looking out in March for draft ideas because mac and cheese might be live streaming the draft. Might. Keywords might not, but might. I don't know yet. Um. Okay. So another big free agent name is Max Crosby. Do you think we pick him up? Yes. No.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a free agent.
Right. We would have
Technically.
to trade it for him. But
Yeah, but I can imagine him making himself a free agent because he wants to win now.
right.
Like he said, the Packers would probably have to give up a lot for him.
I saw a second and third is what it would take.
That would be a gimme. If the Packers are offered that in a trade, I'd take that in a heartbeat.
Me
That would
too.
be a steal to say the least.
Part of me
Uh,
thinks the Packers might do it because Josh Jacobs really quick hinted at bringing some players.
yeah, he wanted to
And
recruit some
I'm
guys.
thinking it's going to be Josh. I'm thinking it's Crosby because Keyshawn Nixon, I know a lot of Packer fans hate him or dislike him. Keyshawn Nixon and Max Crosby are friends too.
Yeah,
That might help. And that's one major thing that Josh Jacobs said is Rich Bisaccia, which we have Rich Bisaccia too, former Raiders coach.
yeah.
Um,
And if Crosby wants out, maybe the
this would be
Packers
the
can get him for cheap because maybe not saying that he would that because I don't know his character like obviously, but if he try to force his way out, maybe he can make an unsustainable situation for the Raiders, and maybe the Raiders are in a mood of okay, let's just dump him there, like for a fourth round pick, fifth round pick.
yeah.
Uh, who knows? But yeah, I would love him to see him in Green Bay. I personally prefer Miles Garrett because I truly believe that he can be Reggie White 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I would expect them to add to the pass rush if those guys, not all two of them, because there's no way the Packers can pull that off.
No.
But would be fun. Yeah, pretty fun.
Only thing that I'm turning down about I would love Miles Garrett on the Packers. The only thing is the off the field issues, like the throwing of the helmet to I think Baker Mayfield. That would probably hurt him again, like fine wise. Um,
Yeah, and you're talking about the episode against the Steelers, right?
yep,
I
yep.
mean, I that's a red flag for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't recall another episode, and we don't know. I'm not trying to advocate for what he did,
Right,
but
yeah,
we don't know what Mason Rudolph said to him that made him go that crazy.
right.
So, like I said with the, and I think I was talking about this the defensive about Getsy. If the
Mhm.
Packers do their homework on Garrett and if they want him, if everything fits accordingly, I don't see why they should not do it. It's probably going to cost a lot, and they need to they need to balance with the cap space and team building philosophy. If that's the way to go, he would be like, I know he would be great in Green Bay. That would take the defense to another level. But you can't compromise your ability to have flexibility to address the rest of the roster at a cost.
Also, really quick, Miles Garrett is about to be 30. He was born on December 29th. So he's about to be 30 or in a half a year. So that's what scares me, age. But especially because he's on the Browns too, and we saw what happened with Deshaun Watson. I don't want to say like what happened with him legally, but with Deshaun Watson turning his Achilles, he might want out of Detroit or Cleveland because of that.
Yeah, and I think Ken Ingles talk about this. I think it doesn't make a ton of sense for the Browns to trade Garrett because they are in a bad cap space,
Right.
and trading Garrett would only make it worse. So why would you trade a Hall of Fame caliber type of player uh, when it would only make your cap worse? It doesn't add up. But the Browns are known for doing uh, weird things. So who knows? Like look who is look who is look who's their quarterback, for example. So we'll see what happens.
Right. I already got told by Browns fans that we will lose against them. Against the Browns in 2025. I already got told that. What do you think?
The Packers are playing
Browns.
the AFC North next year.
Mm-hmm.
Is that game in Cleveland?
I don't know. I think
Well,
so.
I'm trying. Yeah, it's in Cleveland because they play the Browns on Lambeau on Christmas Day in 2021. Yeah, so
That's
it's in
right.
Cleveland. It's in Cleveland.
That's right.
I mean, if we lose to the Browns, like they're probably gonna have a rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
we can't lose to them. If you want to win Super Bowls, you can't lose to the Browns. I'm sorry.
And like you mentioned, if Jair Alexander goes to the Ravens, we would be playing the Ravens. The Ravens would be coming to Lambeau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Packers' schedule next year is kind of tough, especially the home schedule. Like all three teams in the North, they have potential to be good. The Eagles, the Commanders, the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Panthers.
We play the Panthers next season?
It's a we're playing the Panthers next year because they finished third in the AFC South.
Yikes. Okay.
So yeah, it's a rough schedule. The home schedule is kind of rough. I'm hoping. Uh, I'm trying to remember the road schedule. All three NFC North teams. The Steelers that game will probably be in Ireland. I'm not sure if you know about it.
Oh, okay.
Uh, the Browns,
Mm-hmm.
the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Arizona Cardinals. I think. Yeah, it's going to be a challenging schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going back to what you said, they look at all those difficult games at home. They need to beat the Browns in Cleveland. Like there's no excuse.
One team that you missed that we're playing is the Broncos too.
Yeah, the Broncos is a road game, right?
Yes, and then Bengals are at home too.
Yeah, so the Packers have historically struggled in Denver. 2015, 2023. I think they lost in 2011 was in Lambeau. I think they lost in 2007 to the Broncos
Mm-hmm.
at Denver. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a rough schedule.
Okay, so I saw this on Twitter or X, but what do you think the Packers need to address during the offseason? Free agents, coaching, what?
Well, uh, previously mentioned topics: cornerback, pass rush, wide receiver, inside offensive line depth.
Mm-hmm.
Because once Elton Jenkins went down against the Eagles, it was pure hell for the Packers. Travis Glover had like 3 penalties.
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe inside linebacker, but I think the Packers gonna trust in Quay Walker. Uh, and depth at, I know I already mentioned corner, but they need depth at corner as well.
Right.
So I think that's probably the most uh, the top of the list the Packers need to address. I think they're gonna bring Eric Wilson back because he has played some starting snaps and it's a good special teams contributor. Daniel Wilson should be back. Josh Myers should be back. Bo Melton is a tricky one because he should be back, but I don't know.
Yeah.
AJ Dillon is gone. I love the guy, great person, but football wise, it doesn't make sense for him to be
No.
back. And I'm sure we all wish him the best whenever he ends up, because he's gonna get a contract somewhere.
Yeah.
He's great at pass protection. That alone gives him a contract somewhere else.
Right.
I'm trying to think of another free agents. Obviously, we talk about Brandon McManus.
Eric
Uh,
will or
yeah,
um
Emmanuel Wilson will probably depend what happens with Marshall Lloyd's injury.
right, Marshall Lloyd. Jordan
If
Morgan too.
yeah, uh,
Um
but the point is the Packers have the flexibility to bring most of their guys back, no problem. But I
TJ
guess
Slayton is another one.
yeah, but I guess they're probably gonna prioritize free agency, like last year, because they don't have any premium players from the 2021 draft class to resign. So that gives them that flexibility to be active, to be aggressive in March, for example.
Yes. Okay. I just looked up the list of free agents really quick. From the Packers. Oh shoot, there's actually a lot of them. Eric
Yeah.
Stokes. Oh,
Mm,
Stokes.
I mean, I would say he's going to hit the market, but the Packers gave Kevin King a 1 year deal after his performance
True.
against the Buccaneers in the conference title game. So maybe the Packers want to have the same approach with him.
Yeah. Corey Ballantyne.
Gone, probably gone.
Okay. You said Eric Wilson comes back.
Yeah.
Andre Dillard, left tackle.
Oh, he's gone, probably gone.
Tyler Davis, he's a tight end.
I think Rich Bisaccia really loves him.
Yeah,
Uh,
and he also
I,
had a shoulder injury too.
he tore his ACL, didn't he? Oh no, that was the beginning of 2023.
It was the shoulder.
Shoulder.
He
I
had
I
like
I'd lean saying he's coming back, but I don't know. Pretty much like Bo Melton.
yeah. Robert Rochelle,
Oh, he's gone. Gone.
Zane Anderson.
Look, um, he's going to be back
Okay.
because he's a special teamer, and
Mhm.
when he was asked to be on the defense, he kind of was playing well.
Right.
So yeah, he's probably coming back.
He's a URFA too.
So the practice will so he's unrestricted. They'll need to negotiate a new contract with him, but they should have no problem in doing that.
John Fitzpatrick, it's tight end.
I also saw a stat talking about it that he was playing over Ben Sims, so that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but
Okay.
this feels like a toss-up for me.
TJ Slayton.
Has to be back. Has to be back. Their best run stopper. I think he was. I tweeted about this. He was ESPN's best defensive lineman, graded in run stop win percentage. They need him back. They need him back.
Aaron Mosby. Ooh, shoot.
Ooh,
That's hard.
I didn't know he was.
ERFA.
I think the Packers are probably going to let him hit the market, but bring him back to the practice squad.
Okay. You said bring Daniel Willing back. He was good. Isaiah McDuffie. I feel like they're gonna bring him back because that's Halfley's guy.
Yeah, he played. He played under Halfley in Boston College, but he cannot be a starter.
No,
Nothing personal against McDuffie. Uh, he just don't have the starting caliber talent. Like he can be a special teamer, uh, but they need someone to take his role in the starting lineup.
right. Okay. Um, Kadeem Telfort. Ooh, shoot.
I think the Packers bring him back to the practice squad as well.
Yeah, he was good. And then Ellis Merriweather, running back. He was injured, so that was practice.
Yeah, I don't see how he would fit in the running back room.
That's all the free agents. We just listed them all that we have to bring back. I thought Christian Watson was on the list. I just skipped the ones that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, so the guys from the 2022 class the Packers can already extend them.
Right.
So Zach Tom is going to be paid. Rashid Walker is probably going to be paid as well. Christian Watson, we'll see what happens, but I would hope he will get paid. Dobbs, the same thing.
Mhm.
Uh, I think we're gonna head to training camp with Zach Tom already having his contract extension in the bag
Okay.
because he's too valuable for the offense.
Really quick, do you think Malik Willis gets traded somewhere else? He has one more year left on his contract.
The Packers have no reason to move him. He is under contract. I'm sure some teams will inquire about him, but I think keeping Willis in the organization is the best move in their interest because
Mhm.
you already have a backup who has proven can play within the system and plays effectively.
Mhm.
So I have seen no reason for the Packers to move him unless someone offers like a second round pick. That would be insane.
I wouldn't do it for a second round pick, in my opinion.
No,
No,
absolutely not.
I would take it first, if that.
And if any GMs offer that to Brian Gutekunst, I'll personally travel to Green Bay and have him accept the offer. The fear tactic, like accept the damn offer. Like that
Yeah.
would be a steal.
I mean, it depends on what it's for, though. Like, if it's for a player, maybe. If it's for, like, here's the thing, if he gets traded to the Raiders for, like, Max Crosby, yeah.
Oh yeah. No, you do that.
That'd be stupid. Or, like,
That would be
Myles
very
Garrett,
stupid.
one of those two, yeah. I'll do it.
That would be very stupid if you are the Raiders.
I mean, knowing the Raiders, maybe. Knowing that they just got a new GM, maybe.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But I don't think it happens though.
Dang
But
it.
if they want to do it, okay by me. The Raiders want to do it, okay. I'm not going to complain.
Okay, fine. Okay. So do you have any questions for me? I only have like one more for you, I think.
Questions for Mary. I know you asked me this last time and I wasn't ready. And I don't feel ready now, but I'm trying to come up with something as I'm standing.
You're fine.
How are you going to approach how you do content now that the off season is coming? And that's good for me to know as well.
Yeah.
So I can.
So are you talking about how am I going to do off-season content?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were talking about before we start recording is about how June and May nothing really happens. So yeah.
So that's after mock drafts. So we usually do mock drafts. We'll probably do them soon, actually. My friend Peter and I on Midwestern Chaos, we did a mock draft last year. Just to beg one of my friends, Isaac, he hates Boston College, but as a joke, we always took Boston College just for Isaac, like round one. It's been a joke for like since last year, so we might do that again this year. Might play along with the joke again. I don't know yet. But that's just a funny thing that we do every year. We might bring that back. I have no idea yet. We actually pick up on interviews like after the draft too, because what I'm going to start to do actually is bring on every single fan after the draft and talk about their draft picks. Like Texans perspective, Bills, like Chiefs, Commanders, you name it. Every single fan.
And that's good because you get to know more about the
for
other
their
fan base,
team.
the other
Yeah.
storylines, the other franchise. I know Grossi used to do this back in 2020. Like he would have a guest from the other team that Packers were playing that week. So
Right.
remember him doing like videos with guys from the Houston Texans, from the Colts.
Yeah.
I don't think he does that anymore, but I'm sure
No.
he has his plate full.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'll do different people, obviously, because it's nicer to get to know other people. And we'll obviously do our Packer fans because we love you guys all. Um, we'll probably pick up more interviews too during the offseason. I'm not sure who. Like, I know I have like big names. I'm not going to say who yet, but we have some big companies coming on, like for a
Oh,
full episode. You guys
that's
already have
good.
seen them once. Okay, you know what? I'll spoil it now. ESPN will
Oh
be
boy.
coming on.
Oh boy.
Well, because so like I told you the last time you were on, I interviewed ESPN Southwest Florida. They agreed to come on for a full episode when I met them. So they will be coming on. And they cover the Tampa games. So it's funny, when Tampa played the Commanders, that first playoff game, I kind of wanted Tampa Bay to win for bias wise, but I'm happy the Commanders won. Just because I knew Tampa, the Southwest Florida team, and ESPN Southwest Florida would be covering the game because they always broadcast Tampa Bay games, like always. So when someone jokes with me that Packers will play Tampa Bay, I'm like, please no, please no. Like, it's gonna be my friends broadcasting it, which would hurt me because I would want to root for them, but I also don't because I know the owner. I think the person I interviewed is actually a Lions fan.
Also, let me ask you this: do you
Yeah.
have do you have the usually like live stream games?
No.
Not
So
not having the actual game showing, but your reactions, like Grossi, for
So
example.
we haven't been because, like I told you, I actually go to a bar for most games, so it doesn't make sense. And I'll probably be doing that more for this season. But I think I'm definitely going to be doing Super Bowl. I already told people I'll be doing Super Bowl that way, so I'll definitely be covering the Super Bowl no matter what. Um, I already told people I'll do the NFL Honor Show as well, like Coach of the Year, Fan of the Year, that kind of stuff. Just because people did it for Tom last year, and I think I will do it this year, to show respect to everyone and every team base. So I'll be
Yeah,
covering that, and I'll be doing it respectfully, obviously, with not showing the TV, not having sound on, nothing that can get us copyrighted. But we will be doing it for Super Bowl and NFL honors. I would be doing tomorrow, but my mom and I want to watch the games together. However, tomorrow, aka Sunday, the 26th, I will be going live before the games, halftime, and after the games to discuss them, if that makes sense. So one of my
okay.
friends, Isaac, during week 4, I think, did the same thing for the Vikings game. So I will be kind of doing the same thing. So I'll be on before each game, after, or halftime and after. I like to chat about it with probably a fan of that team. Like probably a Bills fan for the Bills and Ravens game. Probably like a Commanders fan for that game as well. So it's gonna be fun. But I will be doing it. I'll suffer watching those teams, but it's because I can. Um, but it's honestly all about like interviewing like people that you would never know. And it's like one that I can officially announce now, and I've been talking to them for quite a bit now. We will be bringing back Dennis Cochran. You guys know him. He actually wrote. He performed at the draft last year, the 2024 tailgate last year. They actually told us that they will come back on again, so we have them coming on. And it's like you never know who you could reach out to, and that's why I said like urinating tree was so nice, so I might bring him back on again. So that's like one of the biggest ones I would say. But yeah, more interviews than ever are coming. Like with every fan base that's in playoffs and stuff, you never know.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more question for you, and this is the one that I told you I forgot to ask you beforehand. Okay. So if Tom watches this episode, when I say Tom, Tom Grossi, what would your message be to him now?
Well, I think we're filled with a lot of people that only brings negativity, especially on social media, because that's the line of work that many of us use. So there are so many people filled with negativity, and Tom's just trying to do his job, do a positive impact on whoever he crosses path with. And it's no coincidence that he won NFL Fan of the Year. So I would just tell him to keep doing what he's doing, because that's a hell of a content. He's one of the best guys we have in the fan base, that we have really proud to say that we have in the fan base, right? So I already talked to him already on live stream, on our Jazz Brazil live stream, and I kind of told him this. Uh, there are not many guys like him that, uh, and we need to cheer that, cherish him, the work he's doing, because he's one of the best. Not only by bringing that positivity, but he's really good at what he does. His content, it's funny. He also makes you think, he makes you reflect. So all around, he's one of the really true elite content creators for the Green Bay Packers.
I
And I
love
think
that.
I know I'm not speaking only for myself on this, because I already have
Right.
crossed paths with so many people that value him. Uh, I think us as a fan base can we cherish him a lot, but we can always do more, and he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
He has earned that 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 praise, right?
Mm-hmm. I would agree. And one thing I actually didn't tell you this. So Tom, if you're watching this, which I know you will, um, I'm gonna get emotional a little bit. Not really. So basically,
It's okay. It's okay.
one of my friends, and I know Brian, you are subscribed now, so thank you for this. I will say thank you like out loud. My friend Brian, so as you guys know, we have memberships for Tom Grossi's channel. Brian has one. My friend Brian, who I actually met at the Oasis, which is my local Packer bar. I met him at the Vikings game for the first time. I've seen him before. I didn't know who it was. So it turns out this bar actually watches Tom's live streams during the games, because Tom's ahead of our local TVs here in the States. I don't know about you. So we watch Tom while we're watching the game live. So we know if Tom's mad, we'll be mad, kind of. So it's kind of funny. And my friend Brian gave Tom his super chat to say, like, can you say hi to Mary? And he did it. So I just want to thank you, Tom, for doing that. And thank you so much, Brian. You didn't have to do that. And it's actually funny. So I actually gave Tom $2 on a super chat and was like, hey, Tom, can you do the same thing? Like, can you say hi to Brian and Ryan in Naples, Florida or something to pay back to them? And the thing is, Tom didn't read that because it was, I should have done it on my personal account, and I realize that now. I did it on the mac and cheese account, which is more known. But the thing is, I don't know if Tom saw that. So I just want to thank Tom for everything. And I know a lot of our fans appreciate your work as well. Do you have anything else to say to that?
Yeah, I remember a story right now that you mentioned yours. We were doing the draft live stream on the YouTube channel of Jihad Brazil,
Okay.
and we were waiting for the Packers pick, and all of a sudden, all of these comments pop up, and
Ah!
we were all caught by surprise, and they were all like Rossi Reed, Rossi Reed, or
Mm-hmm.
like that guy, like he builds his own thing, but he also lifts people up. So that
Mm-hmm.
speaks a lot about his character. I honestly don't know how could anyone hate him, because there's always people who does hate on something or someone for some reason.
Yeah,
uh yeah.
and I don't know why either. Like, that breaks my heart. Tom does a lot for this whole community. Um, that's all I'm gonna say to that. Because I won't say anything else. Like, I would, but I don't want to. Um, and Tom, we appreciate you coming on. And I know Felipe could see the same thing for the Packers Brazil show. Um, we appreciate you coming on. And you know, you have an open space to hop on whenever you want. And I know you would say the same thing for yours. That Tom could basically come on whenever he wants.
Yeah.
Like, um, okay, I was on Twitter. Okay. So what are your final thoughts? Really quick.
So I think what's stuck with me was Brian Gutekunst talking about the team's sense of urgency to win, like to
Mm-hmm.
compete for the championship. So if he needs to be held to that quote. So he needs to act like it, like be active in free agents. I'm not saying to overspend on players, but act like.
Right.
We need to address corner, pass rush, receiver. So do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have seen, like the Eagles pulling out trades, uh, the commit, not the Commanders, the Lions, the 49ers, all those teams making moves to make sure they are better. I know that's not the Packers' MO, but if they are serious about that urgency, they need to act like it.
Right.
And it's like they say, actions speak a lot louder than words. So we'll see.
Yeah. I would just like to thank you for coming on again. You know, you are always more than welcome to come back on. With especially with two people, possibly. You know who I'm talking about. Um, and
Uh, I appreciate you, Mary, for having
yeah.
me, and I would love to be back.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you when your schedule is good.
Yeah,
I'm
for
gonna
sure.
have some time now because I left Packers Talk this past week,
Okay. Yeah.
so I would love to be back, and I hope I'll be back.
You will. Don't say that.
So
You
let's
will.
do it.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure coming here. I know it's just the second time, but
I know.
both
No.
both great experiences, and
Yep.
hoping to do it again soon.
Like I told you, we appreciate you coming on, and I'll actually talk to my co-host Cassie when she wants to do it, because I think you and her, she said Cassie on Twitter or X. I can send you her at. She's amazing as well. And it's actually funny for those that do not know, Cassie took over the DMs recently, or Cassie took over some of the tweeting for me recently on the Mac and Cheese Twitter account. And it's actually funny because a lot of you guys think I'm doing it. She does some of
Yeah.
it. It's so funny
So
because we
wait,
type the
it
same
wasn't
most of the
you.
time. We type the same.
So it wasn't you talking to me.
No, it
Like,
was me. But
okay,
I do DMs, but she posts some stuff. So for
oh,
instance, some of you guys haven't caught this, but the anniversary show, right? She's the one that tweeted some of those, not me.
yeah. Oh,
And it's funny because we tweet each other. It's so funny because if you looked at our document, you wouldn't notice the difference. We write the same kind of. It's so funny. And it's funny, and I can say this. Cassie actually let all the bots in our Twitter account like have like awards and stuff, and it's so funny, like what we say to them. It's so funny with like the amount of communication that we have with most of our bots on the account. No, but I do all the DMing of co-hosts because Cassie has a full-time job, so I don't want that to get out of her mind with her for that. But I do all the DMs for podcasts and stuff. And actually, I think Rob's the first one that caught me on it for that. But do you have anything to promote, or where can people find you?
so I'm mostly working on Twitter, like the. I'm not sure how people in the US are going to interpret my name, but my user is Aceti_Felipe. Aceti, Aceti. It's an Italian name. Uh, I'm working with Zone Coverage and Cheesehead TV, and I'll probably have some news in the upcoming months. Uh, on maybe starting something else on Zone Coverage, but we'll see. That's something that's being discussed, but I'm hopefully it will happen. And yeah, I'm mostly working on Twitter. I'm writing four pieces a week for some coverage and once for Cheesehead TV. Cheesehead TV, I'm on Monday, and I also have to write it because I have not started writing the Monday piece yet. Uh, but I'll probably do it while watching the games tomorrow. So there's time for that. Yeah, people can find me also on Blue Sky with the same name. If you just type my name on both Twitter and user, like it's displayed here on the stream, if you type it, you'll find me.
Yeah, like you said, I love how most of our people on X hop on Blue Sky, which is funny. So for those that do not know, you guys can find me on Mary or X Blue Sky. That's basically it. Mary 90 11 87 10. Some of those are my favorite players. Like I was a big fan of Lucas Van Ness, so 90. Jaden Reed, Sammy Watkins, 11. 87 is Jordy Nelson and Romeo Dobbs. 10 is Jordan Love. And I thought about changing it, but I don't want to. It means so much to me. Like if anything, I would keep the 11 because Sammy Watkins connection personally to me. And then obviously the podcast name is Mac Podcast 2023, and the YouTube is at Mac Podcast 365, which obviously you guys are watching this on. And also we are on Blue Sky for both of those as well. The podcast does have a Blue Sky, and a lot of people don't know about that yet. But I haven't been posting on it, so that's why. It's like some of my posts are on Blue Sky, but that's it. Also, for those that want to watch my content, it's obviously on the Mac and Cheese channel. Midwestern Chaos, like I said, we'll be doing mock drafts probably soon, so that's gonna be fun. And Midnight Disnerd, which Cassie and I decided that we're gonna be taking off this month. This is the channel that we discuss every single Disney movie. We're gonna be doing every single Disney movie. We're working on Moana 1 and Moana 2. Knowing that it just came out in theaters, we're going to be doing Moana 2 next. And we're excited to announce that. So I can officially announce that. Do you have anything else to say to our friends?
Well, not to say to them, but I'm actually going to watch Moana 2 next week. With some friends.
Aww.
But yeah, I'm happy. Like I said, I'm happy to having this conversation, and as I said on the stream, is these connections that make everything so much more meaningful, so much more special.
Okay, I told these people I would do this, but I need to give a shout out to Rob and Jordan from Sans Gouda. You know them very well. Do you want to say anything to them?
I love both of those guys, man. I'm dying to talk to them. In fact, I'm gonna send them a DM after we finish this.
Not my fault.
I haven't seen them on X. I haven't seen them on X recently. I'm worried.
They just posted something, so you should be fine.
I'll have to DM them.
And for you, Jordan, if you're watching, I hope you and I can officially meet. Because Jordan and I, for those that do not know, Jordan from Sans Gouda and I have never met virtually yet at all. I've only met Rob and worked with him, but not Jordan. And I'm surprised by that. And also, I don't know if you know my friends, Fun Football Podcast, Isaac and Med. They do a great show. I know Med is at Shots of the Sideline. Yeah, Shot of the Sideline.
Wait, what's his name?
Med. He's a Bears fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does amazing work.
I got confused with someone else.
No, you're fine. He does amazing work. He's a Bears fan. For those that do not know, Med actually made our original logo and intro before the one that we have now. Yeah. So if you guys, my off camera, which I'll show you guys. Oops. This is actually an homage to our old intro. It says Elijah Jones plus Mary. That's a joke from Isaac's podcast. Because as most of you guys know, I wanted Elijah Jones in last year's draft. Clearly that didn't happen. And that's how the whole joke started. Elijah Jones was from Boston College. So that's kind of why too. But do you have anything else to say to our amazing fans?
Please keep up with what Mary's doing, because, and I remember saying this last time, it's not clickbait, it's good content, makes you really think about stuff, and that's the kind of people we need out there. So please keep up with what Mary's doing, and please keep up with me as well. I'd be thankful of that.
And I can officially announce this. My friend Emily, you guys know her, Emily Mack from Twitter or X. Her and I are working on a couple of things
I
for
know her
off-season
as well.
content. Oh, a lot of people know what's happening behind the scenes, but we have some stuff in the works. I can say that officially, which it might include a cooking live stream. So if you guys want to watch us cook, we might cook on a live stream. I don't know. Who knows? And just to let everyone know, Emily and I are working on a huge surprise for the draft too. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say what it is yet because I don't want to give it away. I'll tell you behind the scenes, but I'm not telling it on the because we almost gave it away too many times already. So we'll see everyone soon. I don't know when yet, but yeah. Bye, you guys. You can say bye if you want.
Go Pack Go.
Go Paco.